What's something you didn't realize was optional in life until you saw someone simply not doing it? Finishing every book you start, dropping a book you're not enjoying is elite adulthood. The same goes for TV series, movies, video games, etc. If you're not enjoying it or you've had enough, you can just stop. Quitting, everyone always says how resilient I am, but truthfully I just didn't realize I was allowed to quit anything. I was killing myself at my first job, working late, answering emails at 10 p.m., going the extra mile. I thought that's what good employees did. Then I saw a senior guy on my team, super respected, brilliant at his job, log off at 4:59 p.m. every single day. I once saw a manager try to give him weekend work, and he just looked at him blankly and said, "No, I won't be doing that. See you Monday." My jaw hit the floor. The world didn't end. He wasn't fired. He just had boundaries. It changed my life. As much as corporates like all the happy family bullshit and all that, at the end of the day there is a contract of employment between me and the company. I trade X amount of hours for Y amount of pay. I am not a registered charity. I don't give extra hours away for free. Those are literally your family and your own private hours. The company isn't going to even remember you 6 months after you've left, but your family will remember you donating those hours to some faceless corporate behemoth. For the rest of their lives, don't do it. Using the fancy cups, plates, etc. Mom was flabbergasted when I made her a cup of tea using the china from her display cabinet. If not now, then when? Why shouldn't we use it when we can? I used to be guilty of thinking like your mother. I was gifted a beautiful fancy too expensive outfit for my newborn 30-some-odd years ago. I never put it on her because I thought it was too fancy for a newborn to slobber and poop all into. As a result, it went without ever being worn, was a waste of the giver's money and of our closet space, I suppose. In retrospect, I should have used the hell out of it because it cost so much. The only way to get the value out of it would have been to use it excessively. I've tried to keep that in mind ever since. The more it costs, the more it should be used to get the value out of it, not the more it should be kept locked away just to look at, unless it's a painting or something. When we had our first kid, I was all about getting expensive stuff for the quality, as I only wanted them to have the best. Then I saw how much they piss and shit over everything, and then how quickly they grow, and I realized I was a fucking madman. Next time we went shopping for clothes for them, about a month later, it was charity shops, Goodwill, Asda, Walmart equivalent in the UK, hand-me-downs from friends and family, basically anything cheap that fit. When we had our second kid, we were on holiday in the States while my wife was 6 months pregnant, and we filled a suitcase with so much cheap wall-wart stuff for all different sizes of baby clothes from birth through to 18 months. Probably only spent a couple of $100, but it was amazing value in the end. Spend proper money on car seats, all that sort of stuff that will keep them safe. Who the f cares if your onesie is worth $1 or $100? They're still gonna vomit all over it. That you don't actually have to have an opinion on everything. Watching someone say "I don't know enough about that to comment" made me realize silence is an option too. If more people did this, the world would be a better place. I wish more people could admit ignorance, and I wish more people could ask questions in good faith when they experience ignorance. The internet has pretty well destroyed our ability to just ask an expert. We all think we have done our own research. I'm just as guilty as anybody of it, but I still hate it. A person was talking stupid, and the person didn't argue, but just got up and walked away without saying a word. As someone who worked with the public, I learned to not argue with stupid. I frequently say, "Interesting, I didn't know that," when people tell me with absolute certainty a fact I'm 90% sure is wrong. Your mileage may vary on this one, but sitting through meetings you don't need to be in. When I was an intern, I mentioned to my boss that a certain team's meetings were brutally long and tended to get way more in the weeds than they should. He told me, "Then just leave," and it absolutely blew my mind. You have to know the politics, and I'd advise getting a vibe check from your boss first, but you can almost always say something like, "It sounds like you don't need me for this last part. Is it okay if I go get a head start on this project? Or I have something pretty time sensitive to get to. Are there any things left you need my input on?" And then I just leave. I say it cheerfully. I always follow up on the parts that involved me, and I've never gotten in trouble for it or had it impact my reputation negatively. Don't let yourself be trapped. Edit to add, I have about 7 years of professional experience. I'm not still an intern just cluelessly watching social cues whiff over my head. I love the phrase, "I have a hard stop in X minutes." I have never had anyone ask why. Half the time I'm relieved when someone in the room says we have to keep a brisk pace because of their no questions asked hard stop. It's a gift to everyone. Saying "thank you for the invitation, but we won't be able to make it" to a social invite without providing a detailed explanation about why you can't attend. The not required to give a reason moment is the best, though I can't deny the urge to fill the gap and mumble some excuse. Usually the person you're talking to doesn't even care that you don't have a reason. They were just wanting to hear yes or no. Giving a shit. I don't mean in an apathetic way. But growing up, my parents panicked about every little thing: going to the store, a DR's appointment, a missed piece of mail, dropping a fork, spilling milk on the table. Everything turned into a big deal. But I spent time with other people as a teen/adult and realized that wasn't normal. The world doesn't end if you burn a pizza, or if the water spills over when boiling pasta. That guy who cut you off isn't the worst part of your day. The staff member at the store checking your ID isn't a bad person. You can just not react to those things, and life gets a whole lot easier. For real, growing up, my mom was so high-strung. Everything was stressful and panic-inducing. Turns out she had an undiagnosed, unmedicated anxiety disorder. Now as an adult, I'm one of the chillest people I know, because nothing is ever truly that big of a deal. Not opening the door when the doorbell rings. This one hit hard for me. Was casually speaking to my neighbor and she mentioned the neighborhood was getting hit hard by solicitors lately. I told her a few were selling internet plans, no-name wireless, and pest control services. She looked at me like I had a horn between my eyes and asked me why I was opening my door to strangers. Made me really think about how programmed we are to answer the door to anyone and everyone who may or may not be nefarious. So, I just stopped. Because it is weird I would open my door to someone I'm not expecting. Same for myself. I don't even care about the doorbell camera and my car in front. If I don't want to answer, I don't, and I don't run and hide in a different room. Hell, I don't even care if they can see me through my front window. Realizing that I don't have to be responsible for other people's emotions. Like, I am, of course, responsible to behave like a decent human being and treat everyone lovingly and with integrity, but it's up to them how they feel about my actions, and it's their job to manage those emotions, not mine. The flip side, though, was also realizing I am responsible for my own emotions, and that I can't put those on anyone else. Seeing someone just not force small talk made me realize you don't have to fill every silence, and watching friends say, "I'm too tired to go," without guilt taught me that you're allowed to honor your energy without explaining yourself. I think one of the signs of a true friendship is the ability to sit in companionable silence for a while. Not all the time, but if you are on a road trip with someone, I think a real tell that they're a good friend is if they aren't constantly trying to engage you in conversation, that it's okay to sit there and enjoy the moment, or zone out, without it being taken as an insult. Pretending to be okay all the time, you're allowed to rest, not perform. Clicking no to website cookies, I always accepted because I thought I couldn't view the page otherwise. One day I watched my friend decline, and they just continued as normal. I was silently mind blown. Wait, do most people think you have to click yes? I've always clicked no. You just have to be sure to click no to everything except necessary cookies. Answering a question, just because someone asks you a question, doesn't mean you have to answer it. Also an email, I used to be the font of all wisdom at work, but now I'm not afraid to forward if it's called for. I grew up Mormon, and it's expected for children to get baptized when they turn 8 years old. This creates a membership record that is kept for the church forever. Some have needed the help of lawyers to get theirs erased after leaving the church. It's pretty much forced in every way except they tell you it's your choice. A girl I knew turned 8 and decided not to get baptized, and all of us kids in the same primary were shocked that you could actually say no and not burst into flames. Looking back, I am so proud of her. Anyways, I'm not Mormon anymore.